So it's me, MC, and here I want to give you really an update on my GLP-1 journey. So I'm on Manjaro. The heartburn I have had in the past 2 weeks has been overwhelming. I have literally lived on antacids and Gaviscon and sipping on ice water to calm down the burning in my esophagus, and it's just not pleasant. But I'm not really complaining. That's not what I'm here to do. Maybe a little, because let me tell you, I was impressed by this kind of heartburn. And for the first time, I understood the whole idea about having this GLP-1 cough. Because when I felt that sensation here in my chest, here, guess what? Made me want to cough. And it was most pronounced when I went to bed, slept on my side. Not great. I'm doing everything I can. I'm even eating dinner at 4 in the afternoon so I can let my stomach really calm down. And I know you've seen my episodes earlier about my success. I've had 50 pounds off of my weight. I've been on Mounjaro almost 3 years. And I'm not really ready to give up. I finally went to the highest dose because let's face it, my doctor and I've had that conversation where most of the studies show that on the highest dose is where they lost the most weight. So I've been at the same plateau, although I got this Hume band and I'm able to see where fat is now becoming muscle. And so there is this kind of static process when you get on the scale. You're not going to see much decline in your weight numbers, but that's all right. I'm okay with that now that I understand what's happening. As I do more weightlifting, more of the fat is going to transition and become muscle, hopefully. And truthfully, that's what I want to see because I really want to make sure that while I'm on Manjaro, I'm not losing muscle. That's what I want to make sure. So today, I really want to share with you this message that yes, this process, as real as it can be, it's messy, it's imperfect. But you know what? I want to still stay on this road of working towards optimizing my weight loss because ultimately, being overweight into your 70s is not a great health condition for longevity. So I'm MC, I'm a health psychologist. I've worked in research for about 30 years. And I truly want to come each week to share elements of my journey to have longevity be my goal and share this with you, all the information, all the research and exploration. Because that's really what it is. It's about doing the research of one. So today we're going to talk about the GLP-1 drug. So please subscribe, push the like button and share. I would love to hear your experience if you're on a GLP-1 drug because everyone's experience is different. That's really the truth of it. So let me kind of catch you up. I've been on this drug, Mounjaro, for almost 3 years. It'll be August. It'll be 3 years. And like I said, I haven't been at this weight since I was in my late teens. That's really how shocking this weight loss has been for me. And the struggle emotionally has been there to talk openly about being on this drug and some of the feelings around the stigma and how people on social media and how they all talk about sometimes the best way is the old way, reduce your calories and exercise more. But reality is, hey, I may have a rare gene that causes me to have this disruption in my hormones that are related to satiety and to hunger, which I think is really at the cause of this in my gut. And so my doctor recommended that I join this study, which frankly made me feel so hopeful, not only for me, but for the young people in the future. How marvelous it would have been if I had been told when I was 10, when I was at my beginning of my weight problem, that I had a rare gene and we had to work with things smart because of my weight instead of feeling shamed by my doctor. and being given a list. And then my parents became hawks on every single bite of food I put in my mouth. I was treated differently and it was painful. And so, guess what? I developed an eating disorder. You know what I mean? But I really have gone through all of that and I really got to a great place and I feel so positive. But I've been sitting at this weight of about 195, 197, and I really would love to get down to 180. 17 pounds is really not a bad amount and nothing has moved. So I want to say something important here, and I mean it clinically. The plateau is not failure. I know this is physiology, and I know that's complicated. And the research says there's a lot about why this happens. And that's what makes weight so complex. The Instagram posts don't show you this. But every time I move up to a new dose, I've been titrating very slowly. And the first few days are rough. I'm taking heartburn medicine and my stomach is just not in the greatest place. And I'm really not eating dinner, if at all. I'm drinking something. And I really don't feel any hunger right now. None, which sounds like a dream. But until you really go through it, especially if you're a foodie like me, you realize there's a lot to be gained by something just about eating something you enjoy in a social setting. But that's not where I'm at right now. And there's no real biology around that. And the constipation that comes with this is not unknown. I have to stay on top of the constipation issues because if not, Miralax has become my best friend. If I don't, I'm in trouble because it's going to be a terrible experience going to the bathroom without it. And basically, you really have to figure out with your doctor what is working and what isn't. So, why does all this happen? And what does the science tell us? These drugs, the GLP-1 drugs, work partly by slowing down our gastric emptying. That means that when something goes into our stomach, the process of it being digested and going into our small intestines and then into our large intestines and ultimately out, that's what the gastric emptying process is. It slows down the whole process, at which food just slowly doesn't move out of your stomach. And that's why you could have this heartburn. So if you eat too much late at night and then go to bed just a couple of hours, guess what? Heartburn. And the studies show that this reflux is at a really risk of 9% of the people who use these drugs. And so you really have to work with yourself to develop a process. And when your stomach empties more slowly, that's where food can back up into your esophagus. It can cause this irritation. And I guess that's what leads to this cough because I got the cough a few times. Now, it didn't persist. We know that 27% of users of GLP-1s are at risk for having this gastric reflux, the GERD. And even though I'm taking a medicine in the morning to help myself with it, it's not enough. And the research published in the Journal of Gut also confirmed the link between what's in your stomach, particularly in the first few months of a new dose level. That's when these side effects show up the most. And that finding a way to deal with that, I'm doing that. I really want to get to my optimal weight. I really want to get where I'm feeling better and I'm moving better and I'm gaining muscle. And I don't feel like the medicine is failing me, but let's face it, I have to work with my body than how this medicine works. So if I have any meals in the late afternoon or the early evening, they're tiny. And that's going to be what helps me. And I think what helps us all is to eat small, eat early. If I'm going to have most of my calories, I have them at lunch. I avoid lying down for 3 hours after eating. I take my over-the-counter acids. I take Gaviscon. It's a liquid that coats my esophagus and makes it feel better. I take an antacid. I take Prilosec in the morning. And then if it really is irritating me because I've eaten too late, I suck on an ice cube and that seems to calm down my throat. Staying hydrated, that is critical, especially as you get older. Hydration is something we don't feel a stimulus to drink enough water as we get older. So don't skip drinking. And if you don't stay hydrated, that's going to contribute to your constipation. So even if you're taking Miralax or a stool softener, if you're not drinking enough water, you're going to still be having trouble. And if I skip a meal entirely, even if I'm feeling the hunger has disappeared, that's okay. I can still have a light snack, which is what I did tonight. I had a very light amount of chicken salad with the wassa crackers and then a little bit of a snack of popcorn while watching a movie, and that's it. It generally helped me to deal with these kinds of things so that I can work through these side effects. Because everybody's body has to deal with how our bodies have set points and that it basically will fight back. That's the reason I think for so many years I was at 243 and it would not budge. And though now I'm at this new weight, 197, haven't been there in 40 years. So guess what? This is truly what we know is that there are these true processes that show up that results in our body weight, no matter what we're doing, it just stops and it's become this plateau. And why is that happening? Our body says, ooh, why aren't you eating? And why aren't you getting nutrition? And it says, let's just slow down our metabolism and let's hold on to the weight we've got. That's what our body does. And that's what happens. And these medications, even though they're there and they'll help us, sometimes our body is just going to fight back. And that's why we really need to work with this process because plateaus will occur in about 70 to 80% of people who are on this weight loss journey with these drugs. And the STEP trial found that most people see weight loss slow significantly around the 6 to 12 month period. So I'm not surprised. And even though I know that the medication is still working for me, guess what? My metabolic process is not working for me. So I need to work with my metabolics. And that's why weightlifting has become critical for me every other day. So let's talk about how we can show that this GLP-1 receptor sensitivity can decrease over time. Because as we take it and we take these dose adjustments, which is partly why I've increased it to the upper dose, because it will increase my appetite suppressant. But even then, you know what? It still is just not, I don't think it's the same thing, but it does start feeling that same way when I first start the new dose. And basically, it's just the fact that there's an exhaustion process in this. And you really have to find the motivation to stick with it. I've denied myself croissants. So every 2 weeks, I'll allow myself a little bread or a little croissant or a little something, not sugar so much. Though, guess what? Ice cream is what I adore. But I need to stay the path because ultimately it is about weight becoming muscle, and that's heavier than fat. This 3-year journey that I have done, it's been a life-changing experience for me. And I know that a lot of you have had opportunities to try it and maybe you didn't have any success or the side effects were really bad and that you just really didn't feel successful and that it was just not what you could figure out doing. But sometimes it's about figuring out what are the multiple things that you can do so that you can be successful and finding other people who are in the same process as we are, because I do not believe that I would be where I'm at without a GLP-1 drug because of the nature of what I think is deficient in my body. And so dealing with the side effects is a reality. We know that the studies have shown that there is ongoing nausea, there's ongoing constipation, and that these rare side effects like the cough or really bad long-term gastric, what they call paresis, where your gastric system just freezes, is rare. All of those are true, but most people keep going when they see that this is really ultimately helping them in the long run. The cardiovascular benefits are real. The sleep apnea benefits are real. And ultimately, do I see that I'm ever going to come off this drug? Maybe not. But I think reaching for a healthier future is worth dealing with these rough days of side effects. How about you? How do you feel? So I'm still working towards my goal weight. I'm a stubborn human being. I don't give up easily. I have this kind of tenacity that hangs in there, and I'm doing the very best I can, which I hope you are too. Yes, I'm not successful every day, but that's okay. We don't have to be 100% successful to be better than we were before. If you're on a GLP-1 medication, or even thinking about it, or you're supporting someone who is, I'd love to hear from you. Not the polished version, the success, but what's really going on? What's working? What isn't? What you wish someone had told you before you started? Drop it in the comments, because this channel has always been about building the trust idea that we are not meant to figure out aging and health alone. We're meant to figure it out together. And if today's episode has helped you in any way, please share, please like it, please come back and tell me how you're doing. And then we'll keep discussing this as I continue to learn more through my own journey and also through the research. I do know that there's a triple agonist that's coming that's going to have 3 types of GLP-1 types of drugs in one injection or one pill. I know that there is a long-term follow-up pill that Eli Lilly's developing for someone who's going to go on what they call maintenance dose. All of these things are still in the pipeline. And I can't wait to share with you the outcome of my gene study that I participated in. I'm supposed to know the results in 3 weeks. What amazing information that will be for me. And I believe it will be amazing information that will be eventually helping young adults that are having a struggle with weight. So I'm Dr. Mary Catherine George, a health psychologist. I do research, and I'm here at Healthy by George to remind you we have this one precious life. Let's live it to the fullest, well into our 80s and 90s, right? So have a blessed day, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. So thank you so much for joining me at Healthy by George. I hope you found the information inspiring and that it encourages you on your wellness journey. Because remember, your body, your well-being are a most precious gift, and every tiny action taken daily can make a huge difference. I hope the information here is educational purposes. It is not meant to replace your medical care. See your doctor and talk about what works for you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me continuing creating content that inspires and empowers you to live your best life. Goodbye for now, and join me again at the next Healthy by George.